There are two kinds of people who decide to build another source of income. The first one waits until they're laid off. The second one starts while the paycheck is still coming. Only one of them gets to build from a position of confidence. The other builds from a position of fear. Which one do you want to be? Hi, I'm Catherine, a coach and business strategist. I help women who want to build a business using the skills, expertise, and life experience they already have, and I help them do this while they still have a job. Because here's the truth about why you want to build a business while you have a paycheck. The worst time to build a business is when you desperately need it to pay your bills. Yet, that's exactly when most people start thinking about one. If you're still employed today, you're in the best position you'll ever be in to create another source of income. And in this video, I'm going to show you why waiting could become one of the most expensive financial decisions you could ever make. Before we jump in, if you're wondering what kind of business could I actually start, I created a guide. It's a free guide called the 4-part framework for turning your skills into a business while keeping your 9 to 5. You can download the guide. The link is in the description below. Now, let's talk about why building while you're employed is one of the smartest financial moves you can make. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people waiting until they have no choice. They wait until they're burned out. They wait until they've been laid off. They wait until they're financially stressed. But here's the problem. Building a business takes time. It takes time to gain clarity. It takes time to learn new skills, time to create an offer, time to attract customers, and time to generate consistent income. When you're employed, you have something incredibly valuable: time. You can build thoughtfully. You can test ideas. You can make mistakes without worrying how you're going to pay your mortgage next month. When you're unemployed, everything feels urgent. Urgency causes people to make decisions they normally wouldn't make. Building while you're employed allows you to build from strength instead of survival. That changes everything. But here's something almost no one talks about. Building a business changes you long before it changes your bank account. I recently had a client who started building her business while she was still working her full-time job. She isn't replacing her salary yet. She isn't making life-changing money, but she told me something that really stuck with me. She said, "Just knowing I'm building something that's mine has completely changed how I feel about going to work." Think about that. Her job didn't change. Her manager didn't change. Her workload didn't change. She changed. Why? Because she no longer felt trapped. She knew she was creating another option. And when you have options, you think differently. You carry yourself differently. You stop feeling like your future depends on one company. That's the benefit people really rarely talk about. Sometimes the first return on building a business isn't financial, it's psychological. And that confidence begins long before your business replaces your paycheck. There's another advantage that's easy to overlook. Starting now buys you something you can never get back later: time. Imagine being laid off tomorrow. Now imagine you've already spent the last year building a business. You've identified your niche. You've created an offer. You've learned how to market yourself. You've started building an audience. Maybe you've already made a few sales. Now compare that to someone who waits until after they're laid off to begin. Those are two completely different situations. One person is continuing to build, the other is starting from zero. Building before you need the income buys you time so that you can learn, improve, and grow without the pressure of immediate results. That's an advantage you can't create. That's an advantage you can't create overnight. Now, you may be thinking, that sounds great, but I don't know what I could build. Let's talk about that. One of the biggest misconceptions I hear is, I don't have anything people would pay for. I don't believe that's true. Think about everything you've learned over the last 10, 15, 20, or even 30 years. Your profession, your education, the problems you've solved, the systems you've improved, the lessons you've learned, the mistakes you've recovered from, even the life experiences you've had outside of work. Most people overlook these because they come naturally to them, and so they feel like it's not of value to anyone else. But what feels ordinary to you could be incredibly valuable to someone else. And your expertise did not begin with your job, and it certainly doesn't end with it either. There's one final reason I believe every professional should be building another source of income, and it's probably the most important one. For years, we believe job security came from working hard and being loyal. Today, the workplace looks very different. Companies restructure, departments are eliminated, artificial intelligence is changing industries. Experienced professionals are spending months, sometimes a year or more, looking for another opportunity. None of this means your employer is bad. It's simply business. And because it's business, you need to think like a business owner too. That's why I don't believe one paycheck should be anyone's entire financial plan anymore. I'm not saying quit your job. I would never advocate for that. I am saying stop depending on it as your only option. Here's what I want you to remember. A paycheck gives you income. A business gives you options. Your paycheck pays today's bills. Your business can help create tomorrow's opportunities. One depends on decisions made by your employer. The other grows because of decisions made by you. The goal isn't to quit your job. The goal is to stop depending on one source of income for your financial future. The best time to build another source of income isn't after you're laid off. It isn't after you're burned out. It isn't after you're desperate. The best time is while you still have a paycheck, because that's when you have the greatest advantage. If you're thinking, that makes sense, but I have no idea what business I could actually start. That's exactly why I created my free guide, as I mentioned earlier, called the 4-part framework for turning your skills into a business while keeping your 9 to 5. Inside, I'll walk you through the same process I use with my clients to uncover business ideas based on their skills, expertise, education, and life lessons. You may be sitting on expertise that's far more valuable than you realize. You can download the guide using the link in the description. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Answer this question for me. If your paycheck disappeared tomorrow, what would replace it? If that question makes you pause, maybe today is the day to start creating another option. Thank you for stopping by to watch this video. I hope that If this video resonated with you and you know someone else who could benefit, do share it with them. I hope to see you in the next video.